and welcome to the Saudi Tourism Authority podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Hedley Hymers, and I'm joined today by Kiran Haslam, who is the Chief Marketing Officer at Diriyah.
Perfect.
Now, tell me, and everyone who hasn't been to Diriyah yet, what is it?
It is a city of Earth, a 14 square kilometer project in the capital of Saudi Arabia, G20, capital city of Riyadh, and it's on the western side of Riyadh. And this 14 square kilometers celebrates the birthplace of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which in physicality is our UNESCO World Heritage Site. Our UNESCO World Heritage Site is called At-Turayf, and it's this incredible adobe structure which has stood since 1700, and in 1766 reached its peak as the ruling palace over Diriyah, which was the place of the first Saudi state. So in 1727, Imam Muhammad bin Saud established the first Saudi state right there, and was in At-Turayf, and stood in Diriyah, and that became the birthplace for the Arabian Peninsula to celebrate societal structure. Mm-hmm. It's based on agricultural societal structure as well, which is very interesting. So the first treasury building across the Arabian Peninsula was in At-Turayf in Diriyah. And you had the first school for both male and female behind Salwa Palace in Diriyah. And you had the second largest mosque across the Arabian Peninsula at the time in Diriyah as well.
So what happened in the interim? It all moved to the capital now is Riyadh, and that's the sort of center of power.
So the peninsula obviously had a very, very different shape and very, very different borders in terms of the political breakdown. And so the Hijaz area of the peninsula was the Ottoman Empire, under Ottoman Empire control. And so the Ottomans basically saw that what was developing in Diriyah was of significance. And so they saw that as a threat, and obviously the Ottomans invaded. Mm-hmm. And so by the early 1800s, you ended up with a situation where Diriyah was somewhat destroyed by the Ottomans, mm-hmm. and it was fiercely defended, but somewhat destroyed. And then basically the seat of rule and power shifted over to what is modern-day Riyadh.
So it was a vulnerable location, but now it is an up-and-coming location. What can tourists going to Diriyah expect to find today now as it stands?
So today, if you arrive, you're going to be welcomed by incredible, generous Saudi hospitality, which I think is uniform across the kingdom, but especially celebrated in Diriyah because the location has a lot of, it has a special place in everyone's hearts because it is the origin of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And so you can come to the UNESCO World Heritage Site and you can explore the ancient quote-unquote citadel, which is At-Turayf, the ruling palace. You can see Salwa Palace, you can go to museums. Mm-hmm. You can understand the significance of everything from equestrian to the architecture, which is Najdi architecture specific to that location. Mm-hmm. You can understand the importance of agricultural society in that location, so in reference to crops and harvesting and why Diriyah became so wealthy 300 years ago.
Is it quite a green place?
Very much so, and it's a beautiful landscape because you've got a wadi and a ravine which skirts and serpentines around this plateau that is Diriyah. And the wadi is very important because the wadi is the main reason for Diriyah existing in the first place. Mm-hmm. The main reason why the tribe from Hijaz called the Banu Hanifa arrived into that location, found fertility in water source and in soil, realize that they can have a settled agricultural society, and that's like really the lifeblood of why Diriyah is Diriyah. Mm-hmm. So you can explore the wadi. There's historic date palms and farms that are on site. We bring it to life with programming and activation. We have events such as Diriyah Season, where we do Layali Diriyah in one of these historic cultural date plantations.
So tell me what that is, because I don't know the word Layali.
Layali. So Layali Diriyah, if you translate it, we translate it as Diriyah Nights, and we run this incredible offering of experiential Najdi culture, Diriyah culture. We use really, really interesting partners to bring pop-up restaurants to life. We do it in this incredible canopy of historic date palms.
So it's very atmospheric.
Very much so. It's not to be repeated anywhere else because it feels very magical. And even our UNESCO World Heritage Site, if you go to the UNESCO site during the day, I really encourage everyone to at least walk past it again at night, because the way that it's illuminated and presented to the world, it feels really, really rich, and it always just has the hair on my arms standing up. If you don't have hairy arms, I'm sure you'll get goosebumps.
I'm sure something will stand up. It sounds very good for history buffs, for culture lovers, very atmospheric,
Yes.
and quite sort of the quintessential idea that people have of Arabia when they think about Arabia in those romantic terms. Who is the demographic? Who is coming to Diriyah at the moment?
Everyone. That's the hardest question to answer, and it's the one that I get asked the most. Who are you targeting? We're a city for a start.
Yeah.
Of course, the UNESCO World Heritage Site is one component of this 14 square kilometre city. So we're attracting everyone, really, all walks of life, because you'll find an elderly man from Japan who's taking wonderful photographs of Solar Palace, or you'll find school kids who are exploring the UNESCO site as well. It's all walks of life. At the moment, we're seeing a lot of visitors coming from Italy, from Spain, from France. We're seeing a lot of heightened visitation coming from both India and China. The GCC, they're no strangers to the understanding of and the importance and the historical significance of Diriyah to Saudi.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of visitors from the GCC who are coming through to visit as well. So it's really all walks of life and all ages. And we've developed the site with programming and activations that's relevant to that diverse set of visitation as well. So kids can come and can explore, and they can see things, and there's interesting activities around the equestrian museum on site, with real horses, and Nuzul activation, which is a reenactment of how life was, 265 years in Diriyah. So there's lots and lots of things that can.
I love those reenactments. I get right into those things.
Yeah, as long as they feel authentic.
Yes.
Sometimes they can feel a little bit of 4 scores many years ago, and so you want that authentic, and so we try to deliver really interesting storytelling through that mechanism, and it feels just a little bit richer because you can lose yourself in that world.
I was just in Saudi, and all the guides that I met called themselves storytellers.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. I thought that was a really nice touch.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do we get to Diriyah, and when we get there, where do we stay?
Super easy. Arrive into the international airport in Riyadh, jump into a car, and you'll be in Diriyah in 20-21 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Traffic pending. but the traffic in Riyadh, surprisingly, this week is testament to the fact that the traffic in Dubai has got to be worse than the traffic in Riyadh.
Than everywhere,
So no rivalry here, I promise you, but I sincerely feel like it's harder to move around Dubai at the moment than it is in Riyadh. But,
of course.
But obviously, traffic pending, it should be on approximately 20 to 25 minutes to get to Diriyah from the airport.
And where do we stay?
Where do you stay? Well, at the end of this year, very exciting, we open our first hotel. We have multiple master plans. We have projects around Diriyah as well as Diriyah, because we have a supervisory area in the organization, which is 194 square kilometers. So it's a big belt of land on the west bank, on the west side of the ring road, skirting around Riyadh. And the Diriyah project is the 14 square kilometers. We also have another project which is called Wadi Safar. If you take those master plans and combine them, we've got 42 hotels that are going to be part of what we're building.
Wow.
Of those 42 hotels, 28 exist within just the Diriyah master plan. And those 28 hotels are very, very exciting because they're working together with us on the look and the feel of the hotel, delivering heritage experiences, embracing the natural typography and landscape, and so doing things like the Rosewood will be opening a really interesting sort of a farm-to-table concept, but 360 holistic hospitality experience.
So big brands as well, like the Rosewood.
Yeah, Four Seasons Rosewood. We've got Aman, Janu, Taj, Oberoi. But this year, we will be opening our luxury collection Bab Samhan Hotel, which will give you a real taste. It's got all of the charm of Diriyah packaged into its experience, into its rooms, into its interior design. And you'll be able to come out of the hotel after having a fantastic meal with Michael Mina, who's doing something very, very interesting, picking up on all of the different reference points of cuisine across the kingdom and delivering them in a signature restaurant experience. And then you'll be able to come out on foot And within 30 seconds on the other side of the road, you can see one of the first new museums that's being delivered. We've completed the museum, and currently it's being handed over to the Ministry of Culture so they can bring it to life. And that's called Diriyah Art Future. And it's a very interesting futuristic exhibition and museum space with constantly rotating programming, which will be very, very inspiring. And then it's a 3-minute on-foot walk if you walk at Kiran Haslam's pace. And on that 3-minute walk, you can get down to Bujeri Terrace, which is a fine dining district, and our UNESCO World Heritage Site. So right now, for the last 2 years, we've had not just the UNESCO site open, but we've also had Bujeri Terrace, which has 21 restaurants, most of which are sort of aimed at fine dining. And those restaurants there serve the visitation that's coming. And the visitation so far has exceeded 2 million people coming on site to the UNESCO World Heritage Site.
2 million?
Yeah.
That's some good numbers.
It is, it's great.
And which hotels are open now, and what's the time frame on the ones that are about to open?
So right now, if you arrive into Diriyah tonight, which I'm sure you're desperate to do, you're going to have to stay at a hotel in Riyadh. You'll stay at a Four Seasons or at a Ritz-Carlton or at one of the many great hotels that Riyadh has to offer.
Yes, an explore by day trip for now.
Correct, but by the end of the year, you'll be able to stay in this luxury collection in Diriyah, which is very exciting.
I love luxury collection hotels. They are fabulous.
Yeah, and working with Marriott, they are a fantastic hotelier group. And,
yes, we know Sandeep Walia very well. He's a guest on the show.
Great,
and
great.
Yeah,
he spent many days with us in Diriyah, getting excited about the hotel coming to life.
Yes, and, he described Saudi as the best story of the century, which I thought was a really lovely way of encapsulating
I have a feeling that he's cheapening it by using the term century. The best story
ever.
And ...
Well, I am really looking forward to coming to Diriyah to see what's there. Are there any events that I should put into my calendar?
Diriyah season for sure.
Okay, and that runs from when to when?
It runs over the winter months in Saudi, and for those that are uninitiated, if you arrive into Saudi Arabia, if you arrive into Riyadh specifically,
yes,
anytime after the month of September, I would advise that you pack a light cardigan, or a jacket.
Gets a bit cold.
And if you arrive after November, then you definitely want a jacket because it's so beautiful. We have a proper seasonal experience in Riyadh, which is really enriching as well. Because there's nothing more lovely than standing in Diriyah in late November, early December. You've got a lovely warm jacket on, and the night sky is crisp and clear. The quality of air feels really, really lovely as you breathe in deep and look at the UNESCO World Heritage Site or walk through the wadi, and the stars are just fully illuminated and very, very visible. So it's a wonderful time to be in Saudi.
I am sold, Kiran. I am sold. I'm looking forward to coming late November. That's my birthday. I'll be there.
Excellent. We'll have a birthday party in Layali Diriyah.
I'll hold you to that. I will hold you to that. Thank you so much, Kiran Haslam.
Thank you for that.